Hello gang, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to make this video today because I'd like to talk about some of my favorite kind of music in the world. So it's a pretty big deal, as you will see in that video. Today I want to talk about Madchester. So what is Madchester? So let us define Madchester, shall we? First, a bit of a boring definition, and then we can move on with the rest of the video. So Madchester is a musical and cultural scene that emerged in the late 80s and ended roughly in the early 90s. It was quite short-lived. And it was born, of course, in the Manchester area, hence why it's called Madchester, and it's pretty mad. So yeah, that's how the name came to be. Of course, it was born in the Manchester area, but it thrived in the north of England and the north of the UK in general. It was a very, very strong cultural scene at the time. And again, some of the music that came out of that scene is still something that I hold in very high regards, music that I come back to very regularly. So that's why I figured, since this channel, the channel's main spirit is music, I sometimes want to chat about some of my favorite kind of music, and the Madchester music is one of them. So that's why I'm making this video. So I think this video will be in three parts. The first part is me talking about Madchester, giving you an overview of what the Madchester music is for those of you who don't know, and also how I came to listen to that kind of music, how I discovered it. And the second part, I want to dive more into the music itself, so more like technicalities, what makes this music so appealing to my ears, why I find it so unique and special. And then the third and final part, I will mention a few of the musicians from that scene, and also link it to my own experience living in Manchester for almost a year, and how it helped me further understand my enthusiasm for this kind of music. Okay, so I gave you the broad definition of what Madchester music is, and now I'd like to briefly mention how I came to discover that music. So my dad introduced me to a few different bands that you can call Madchester when I was a kid, right? And he himself discovered the Madchester music through his English friend Ian, who is from Manchester. He's not actually from Manchester, Ian. He's from Ashton-under-Lyne. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Manchester area, Ashton-under-Lyne is a rather small town in the outskirts of the city. It's still within the greater Manchester area, but it's not technically part of Manchester. He grew up there, and he worked in France, in Grenoble, in the late 80s for a few years, Ian. And that's when he met my dad, because my dad was working in Grenoble at the time as well. They met at a pub. The story goes that they were playing pool, and Ian, being British, of course, he's very, very good at pool, and my dad was very impressed, and they befriended over a game of pool. And after that, of course, once the friendship was made, my dad paid him a few visits over in England, in Ashton-under-Lyne. And that was in the late 80s, early 90s, so right in the middle of the Madchester movement. Ian is a big fan of this kind of music, so he introduced my dad to it. And then throughout the 90s, my dad would go back to Manchester to visit Ian. He even went with my mom a few times, I think, and they are still friends today. As a matter of fact, Ian's son is currently staying at my house for a week. He's learning a bit of French, and we are showing him the region where we live. So it's great. When I was 14 years old, because Ian's son is currently 14, when I myself was 14 years old, I traveled over to England to stay at Ian's house for a week and to practice my English. So yeah, it's nice, you know. The cycle goes on. Sorry, I digress. Let's go back to the main topic of the video. So that's how my dad discovered Madchester music, through Ian. And back in the 90s, when they would both be in the Manchester area, they would go to the Hacienda nightclub. For those of you who don't know, the Hacienda nightclub is a legendary place in Manchester. It no longer exists, unfortunately, but it was considered the epicenter of the Madchester movement. A lot of the famous DJs would promote this kind of music, or even some of the biggest bands of the Manchester music scene would perform a lot at the Hacienda nightclub. It's really a shame that it's closed these days. I think it closed down because they how do you say in English? The nightclub went through bankruptcy. I think that's the right word, because the people who would go to the Hacienda would notoriously drink water and not consume alcohol, because, you know, the scene was something else, if you know what I mean. There was some ecstasy in the air, you know. So they ran out of money and they had to shut down. But it was a brilliant place and time to be alive. I'm saying this as if I lived it. Of course I didn't, but according to my dad, it was something else. There was a very strong sense of optimism, you know, and everyone was together. It was a very powerful scene, again, according to my dad. Let me check if my microphone is still picking up the sound. Okay, we're good. We're Gucci. So yeah, my dad was telling me all these stories when I was a kid. You know, oh yeah, we used to have loads of fun in England in the 90s, and the music was great. And so for as long as I can remember, my parents have been playing really good music, especially in the car when we were driving somewhere, anywhere, whether it would be a 10-plus-hour car drive or just visiting my grandparents a few villages away from here. There would be music in the car. And my parents always play sick-ass music. I guess that's my very unbiased opinion. But yeah, of course, growing up around my parents, I was always very influenced by their music taste. My mom is very fond of 80s pop music, for instance, like Madonna or Kim Wilde, Blondie. We used to listen to a lot of Blondie, Depeche Mode, things like that, you know, or Simple Minds, of course. And we got to see them live at a festival here in France 3 years ago. My mom was here, of course, and I think I've rarely seen my mom dance so hard because that was a dream come true for her, you know, to see Simple Minds. And they were really good as well, tight, you know. Anywho, and my dad would play some reggae, AC/DC, a lot of hard rock, you know, the early Metallica stuff. And Manchester music was a big one as well in the car, especially when we were doing just father and son stuff, you know, and we would drive somewhere and we would have a good laugh in the car. And I was allowed to take shotgun, when usually when you under 10 years old, you're supposed to stay in the back seats. But my dad would be like, hey, whatever, just sit at the front, and we'd play music and we'd play it loud, you know, and have a good laugh. Beautiful memories that I'll take to my grave, definitely. And there were 3 albums that my dad played from that Manchester musical scene. He mainly played those 3 albums. The first one, The Stone Roses, by the band The Stone Roses, their first record. The second one is called Screamadelica by the band Happy Mondays. And the third record was Pills and Thrills and Bellyaches by I mixed them up. Screamadelica is by the band Primal Scream, and Pills and Thrills and Bellyaches is by the band Happy Mondays. The Happy Mondays and the Stone Roses are 2 bands from the Manchester area. Very, very popular band. some of the most popular bands in the whole of the UK, really, when it comes to British rock. And Primal Scream is a band from the Glasgow area. That's why earlier I mentioned that the Madchester thing spread all over the north of England and the north of the UK, because you would also include some of Scotland, right? But still, Primal Scream made it very big in Manchester because that's where it was at. That was the scene, you know. So these are the main three albums that I know of. I don't have a very vast knowledge of Manchester music, if I'm being completely honest. It's mainly these three albums. By the way, if anyone's watching this video who know about the Manchester music and would like to recommend any more bands or artists or a song or an album, please let me know in the comment section down below. That would be great, and I would definitely check it out. But these were the three albums, and they're always in my dad's car. He's changed cars over the years. He's had a few different cars, but those three albums, the CDs, are always in the car. That's like a constant, you know. As a matter of fact, yesterday we drove to the mountains and we went hiking. My dad, Lukey, who is Ian's son, and myself. And on the drive back, we played Pills and Thrills and Bellyaches in the car. And that's when I had this idea of like, oh, you know what? I want to make a video about the Manchester music because I love it so much, and it's everything I love about music. You can find it in this kind of music. It's proper legit shit, you know. So here I am. Okay, I think we're nearly at the end of part one. That was just for a long introduction to talk about Manchester and the Manchester music and cultural scene and how I came to listen to that kind of music and all that, you know.